Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the first ever online Hello You Storytelling Stand-Up Open Mic. I'm your host? Sure. Kelsey Flynn. You know, it's just me. It's Kelsey. In my own personal theater of the playroom of sorts. I'll show you around. Because how often do we get to do that? And I just want to thank Dell Computers for putting the camera on this computer down here. So you get a really nice up angle at a part of my body that I've really been working a lot on lately, passively. And I think it's really going to be a success. Thank you. But yeah, let me show you around the home theater. Here's my midriff. Bookcase. Up there, people mistakenly think those are menorahs. They were gifts for my parents at their wedding in 1959. What? They had weddings back then? They did. And they gave gifts that they weren't menorahs, but they looked like menorahs, to a couple who were getting married from the Protestant and Catholic faiths. Maybe that's a talk for another time. And let's see, we've got a child right there working. There's a giraffe on the wall there with some work. And then over here is a map. And right over here, those are my parents. Say hi, Laura, Peter. They haven't gotten to their final destination yet, but they've been keeping us company on the desk for a year or two. Happy to have them. And you. So here's the story. We've got some videos that folks have sent in from the Hello You community, and we want to thank you all for doing that. And we're just going to have some fun watching and celebrating this time together. Because I think we're going to have a lot of time like this, friends. And there's more to come. So get a beverage, which is something you can't typically do at the happy... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. My neighbor just walked by. Hi, David. He's talking to himself. These times, we have all different ways of processing. Oh, no, sorry. Didn't see his kid. Was with him. She's petite. Anywho, yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun to be had online during this time. And keep those videos coming. Scott at happiervalley.com is where you can send yours. Happier Valley Hello You students of past and present. And we'll do this. Hopefully, maybe next month we'll be back in our theater. But if not, we know we have this time together. Together is how we'll get through anything. So, without any further ado, let's start the show. Ta-da! Please welcome your first Hello You stand-up storyteller. Whoa! This really allows me to get my inner Muppet in. I love my inner Muppet so much, and he doesn't get a chance to come out much. So there's something else for this time. Whoa! Oh, it looks like it's very space-oriented here with this much keyboard. Wow, I could really be here for hours. All right, but I'm not, because it's time to start the show. Start the show.
Hi, everyone. I don't know what's harder, not touching my face or not touching the refresh button on the news. I've taken to wearing shoeboxes on both hands. The nature charities have a new incentive. Instead of sending you tote bags, they're going to send you toilet paper. And then as you unroll it, it will say, I give a shit about the environment. Coronavirus got shortened to COVID-19. But the way names are shortened usually doesn't make any sense. How does Margaret become Peggy? How does Jonathan become Jack? How did mammary glands become boobs? They say teenagers are having the hardest time social distancing. I'm working on a solution. Opera in a can. Just one quick blast, and they disperse. My partner and her ex get along mostly, but they disagree on certain ways to aid their teenage kids in these trying times. Her ex got them weighted blankets, and my partner's like, they do not need weighted blankets. They need helium sheets. My 82-year-old dad does not like to live large, and this whole mishigas has just made it worse. He doesn't collect vintage wine. He collects vintage over-the-counter medication. Have you tried the 1996 Advil? He has the money, but he will not buy himself the good hearing aids. So this fall he asked after my partner's 18-year-old kid. And I said, Dad, he's applying to colleges. Dad says, he's a flying psychologist? And I hope he does become a flying psychologist, because we are going to need a fleet of them to fly around house to house and give sessions from the rooftops. Good night, everybody.
2020, Corona Gate, chillin'. Oh my goodness, Happier Valley. I don't know what we're doing here. I'm super excited that we're still trying to do something remotely where we can have our own little quarantine comedy Coronathon. That makes me feel super happy. But I'm over here in isolation just doing everything I can to not fucking lose that, okay? I don't know about y'all. I happen to be I keep looking over my shoulder like somebody's gonna fucking be there. I am a particularly social being, okay? And so that now that I'm in isolation, I'm just sitting there like, what are we gonna do with ourselves? No, it's honestly not been that bad. But I'm fortunate. I still get to go to work. I get to work remotely from home. I get to make a lot of phone calls and do my social work thing, so it's working out well for me. Even though I don't look like I have a job right now. I know I look like Jesus who got a job at Netta. Currently, since I'm not fucking shaving and don't particularly care to shave, it's my Coronathon beard. At this point, I look like Jesus after he wandered the desert for 40 days, and I kind of just emerge like what's happening? And someone's like, Corona? And I'm like, no, I could really use some water though. I'm a little bit parched. And they're like, no, the world's exploding. And I'm like, what happened? I was just in the desert for a little bit. That's pretty much where we're at right now. But I don't know, man. This stuff is fucking crazy. I was talking to one of my family members the other day, just checking and doing our little conference calls. And she started going off about the virus because all anybody's talking about right now is the fucking virus. And she's like, I just can't believe those conspiracy theorists who think that there's some underlying issue that's going on that we can't see. What kind of crazy people really think this? They think that the government released this? They think that this is a big setup and that it's all a hoax? You know what, people? Just pull out your tinfoil hats already, okay? Just get it over with. And I'm sitting there on the phone the whole time, just like, I know it's backwards, but it's tinfoil, man, because I've been sitting here just going over all kind of crazy conspiracies, man. I'm sitting there like, right away that the government was doing something with 5G Verizon towers over there in Wuhan, China, dropping off COVID-19 viruses and getting them Chinese people sick. It's all about global domination. Who done it's more like it. Then they start imprinting them microchips into your vaccinations. I'm just sitting here like trying not to spiral down the rabbit hole of Corona conspiracy. But it's too easy. Thank God for coffee. It's too easy. It's unbelievable. I don't even know if you call this Corona comedy. I'm just literally fucking ranting. I don't know what else to do. My comedy's taking a backseat. I haven't been writing too much. What is there to write? What is there to observe? I'm observing a computer screen all day. I sit there and just go, hello? Good to hear from you. That's to the point where I'm at now. I don't know anymore, man. It's absolutely crazy. In trying times, I always turn to scripture. You know, when you look like Jesus, you gotta talk to Jesus sometimes. And I was like, Jesus, why are you doing this to me? Is it so centered to think that coronavirus started just so I would stay home? I don't ever stay home. I literally avoid my house at all costs. And now they're like, the only thing that can save the world is if you stay in your house. And I'm like, you know, do I really want to save the world, man? Like, is it worth saving at this point? Like, what is gonna happen? They're like, social isolation may take place until fucking, summertime? Next year? Excuse me? I feel like if you have that happen, this is like the start of the purge, okay? Someone's gonna sit there, they're gonna miss out on Halloween, they're gonna be like, I bought a costume for this! And then they're just gonna start breaking shit out, man. I don't know, but stay safe during Corona Gate 2020. We're making history right now. We're gonna be in some books if we don't die. So, I hope y'all are doing your thing. Stay safe and have a great time. Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Happier Valley and all of our friends and family. So as you know, and you're all experiencing, we've been trapped in the house for a while now, working from home and living at home. And so for funsies, we thought we would perform a little song for you. We hope you like it. We hope that you'll join in on the chorus when you get it. And in the spirit of what Pam tells us, we're probably going to fuck it up, but that's okay. We're ready for that, and we hope you are too. And sing along and enjoy. Stay home, COVID come and be working from home. Stay home, stay home. COVID come and be working from home. Work all day in the spare bedroom. COVID come and we work from home. Boss man says we can meet by Zoom. COVID come and we work from home. Pets and kids are driving me bananas. COVID come and we work from home. Internet connection doesn't have the bandwidth. COVID come and we work from home. Use Purell and keep your hands clean. COVID come and we work from home. Social distance and quarantine. COVID come and we work from home. Same four walls are driving me bananas. COVID come and we work from home. Think that I'll just stay in my pajamas. COVID come and we work from home. Stay, Mrs. Stay. COVID come and we work from home. Stay, Mrs. Stay, Mrs. Stay, Mrs. Stay, Mrs. Stay, Mrs. Stay. COVID come and we work from home. Pets and kids are driving me bananas. COVID come and we work from home. Internet connection doesn't have a bandwidth. COVID come and we work from home. Stay home, stay home. COVID come and we work from home. Stay, we say stay home. COVID come and we work from home. Work all day in the spare bedroom. COVID come and we work from home. Boss man says that we can meet by Zoom. COVID come and we work from home. Same four walls are driving me bananas. COVID come and we work from home. Think that I'll just stay in my pajamas. COVID come and we work from home. Use Purell and keep your hands clean. COVID come and we work from home. Social distance and quarantine. COVID come and we work from home. Same four walls are driving me bananas. COVID come and we work from home. Think that I'll just stay in my pajamas. COVID come and we work from home. Stay home, stay home. COVID come and we working from home. Thank you. We hope you enjoyed that, and we can't wait to see you all again. Goodbye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
The apparently part of the reason that we have this illusion of time is tied to heat. When there isn't friction, which is linked to heat, then things can run backwards as well as forwards. So like a pendulum won't just start swinging out of the blue. You can't reverse that kind of action. But in the absence of heat, all of the kinds of movements that we have out in space, like with the planets, apparently is entirely reversible and could go forward and backwards just as easily. So there's some sort of intrinsic connection between heat and time. And heat itself, from what I've been reading, is a probabilistic occurrence. That heat makes cold things warm isn't by any means a certainty. It's just super, super, super likely. And I've been thinking about things that are just super, super, super likely, such as the judgments that I get no matter what I do or what I say or where I say them and when. Like right now, I need to get out of the house, and I'm afraid that if I say it this way online, people will judge me for not being perfectly quarantined at home. And if I say it that way, some of my distant family members will be criticizing my daughter because she didn't accept this from them or that from them. And just like how much we mold our entire perception of reality to fit the heat that we might get from others if we're honest about what we want and what we're doing. And I think this was incredibly funny because one of the worst, most horrible things that I've been afraid to be outed of lately is that I started going to church. And when you make feminist porn and your work is as a public slut, going to church is scary on every level because all the people who support you in your work are likely going to wonder why you're being such a bizarre traitor and heading right into the places that have been so historically responsible for all of the shame that we carry around sex. And the people at the church could be likely to reject me for my unwillingness to be shamed for those very same things. So I was super, super surprised to find myself walking into a church and then returning again and again and again. And the only thing I can do is explain it as I'm a preacher's daughter and I got shit to resolve. And going to church has been highly cathartic. And the funny thing is that it's Lent right now and everybody's like, oh, so what are you giving up for Lent? And I just want to be like, Lent? That's for loser Christians. See, us real Christians, the kind of church I was raised in growing up, we didn't believe in Lent because if there was anything you could give up for Lent, you ought to be giving up 365 days a year or you didn't have real faith. So I decided to try this whole Lent thing out. I don't even really understand what it's about, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna give up a couple of pounds and give up half and half for Lent. And then come to find out, you actually, so it's Lent's only 40 days, and in the church that I was going to last week or the week before, you can break what you're doing for Lent on Sundays. So not only is it only 40 days, you get to break your own thing once a week. I was like, this is the wussiest Christianity I have ever heard of. If you're really serious in your commitment, why would you need all of these exceptions? And why would it be worthwhile to God to have you giving up any of this stuff anyways in the first place? Especially if God wants that from you, you need to give it all the time. So I just think it's hysterical that in the midst of all of that, what I've found is this huge sense of compassion, realizing that the kind of religious upbringing I had was perfectionism on a spiritual level that made me feel that I was in a perpetual state of failure.